Who wants to share what they observed? Microphone, please. Can you switch it on? Yep.
The thing I noticed was it doesn't stop. It's and in the transition there was empty. And the image that came to mind was the infinity as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, interesting, very, very interesting point. In the transition, what did you say you found?
It was empty.
Empty.
In both transitions.
In both transitions, there was emptiness. Anyone found that? Did anyone else find in both transition there was just space? And if you haven't found it, you might go and try a little bit more, and actually you'll notice it. In the transition point, there is life. In that point is space. Right there, space. Okay, cool. And you saw a little infinity thing because it's going back in and out, and just like the ocean. We spoke about this with the Melbourne group just the other day. Someone said it was like, felt like the ocean. You know, when it comes in to the shore and back out. It's coming in and coming back out. But the ocean is constant. The breathing, the coming into the shore and coming out is the breathing. It comes in, comes back out. But where the breath is coming from, where you would notice it in the transition, is the ocean, the fullness of the emptiness. Remember, empty is the new full. Spoke of that in previous months. Still trying to get that on a shirt. We will get one done. Empty is the new full. The fullness of the emptiness. The ocean is big, but just one part of it goes across the waves, across the shore, back out. Even sounds like it. If you go to a beach, I always remember this beach I would go to at night just to sit there and ponder, Balmoral Beach, up on the North Shore, northern beaches. And it's one of those beaches that doesn't have waves, so you can just sit there, but you can hit, and it just has there's little tiny waves that just roll in. It's just like the breath. The water comes in and then water goes back out. But look out, look at the depth. It's full of water. It's full of space. And in the transition, you noticed the fullness, the emptiness. You're looking for space. It's right here. You just have to bring your awareness. Remember, your awareness is who you are. If your awareness is small, you become small. Doesn't matter what you do, you can't fill up the fridge. The space is small. You expand your awareness, you live more of your abundant feeling. So there's no use in talking about money. It's actually irrelevant. I'll talk more about that by the end of today. Thank you. Anyone else? Yep.
I actually pictured an oval shape, and as just energy sort of flowing around. And it slowed down when in that pause, but there's still energy there, but it's just not at the same vibration, I guess. So it's just energy flowing.
Okay, the flow of energy going in, going out, going in, going out. Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Did anyone notice a difference between the breath going in and breath coming out? Who did? Put your hand up. All right, share with me the difference.
on the breath in there was more resistance,
Mm-hmm.
and then on the breath out it was just easy, effortless.
Who else noticed that? So on the breath in, you could feel the, if you like, resistance or the pressure building because you're filling up. Okay, it was more effortful. All right. On the breath out, I mean, just notice it now. Breathe in, breathe out. Do you notice any difference with the sensation? When you're breathing out to come back home. Now, the only reason there is resistance is because you believe it's the body breathing and therefore the space is limited. So then you experience that pressure because, you know, this is a reflection. The lungs are filling up. Like it's more effortful. But coming back out.
And I guess that's what the process you were talking about is when you're coming back in, there's the resistance and then you get the transition, which is the awareness, and then the out is easy. And then the awareness might come back in. So it's just the transition is the awareness.
Within that transition, you're experiencing like the reason I got you to observe the transition because there's a moment where you stop breathing. It's just a moment, there's a moment you're not breathing in, you're not breathing out. And it just all goes quiet. And you can feel the emptiness, the fullness of the emptiness that I'm talking about. You can experience what I'm saying about the moment now, not the present moment that has a story of the past and future influencing it, but the moment now. But can you see how aware you have to be? You have to be really present and notice. There's a transition there. I'm not breathing in and breathing out. It's just really quickly. And then you come back out the same way you went in. Going in is squeezing a drop of the ocean into a balloon, like a water balloon. But then you let go of the balloon and the drop returns back to the ocean. Notice, observe throughout your month. And if you want to take it to one deeper level, this is the homework, do it in the moment you're waking up. Remember we did an exercise where you noticed first thing when you wake up, as you're opening up your eyes, you're noticing yourself. If you bring your awareness to the presence that it takes to notice the transition I'm talking about, like that presence, you notice yourself coming back into your body. The moment you wake up, you're coming back from the mind, from the one mind, coming into this one form. The moment you fall asleep, you notice yourself leaving the body. And when you're not leaving or coming to the body, you're just connecting to the all part of you. You're not just in your body, you're everywhere. And the moment you're waking up, you rush and bring your awareness back to the body. The moment you fall asleep, you let go of your awareness and it floats away from your body and connects with all things again. Who's experienced that? So if you want to take this and everything, you take it to your level. You know, I go to a gym and whenever it's a group workout, about 15 people working out at the same time. And because everyone's at a different level, every exercise, they give you 3 or 4 different versions of it. Depends on your strength and your experience and your weight and all that kind of stuff. Same thing as this. If you're struggling with this, the first part is just to observe, dissect the breath into two. Breath going in, breath going out. If you can become even more alert, aware, become aware of the transitions as well as the breath going in and going out. The two transitions. If you want to take it even more, do this practice the moment you're waking up. Just wait, don't rush out of bed straight away. Who wakes up without an alarm clock? Who can wake up one day at least without an alarm clock? Okay, at least one day. Notice that moment where because the moment the alarm clock goes off, you're like, thoughts, you know? But if you can just wake up naturally, the sun hitting your eyes or whatever, you can just, that's the way I woke up this morning. It's just like you're finding your body. But at the same time, in that moment, place your attention on your breath. Dissect the breath into two, going in, coming out. Going in, and at the same time, you're finding your body. Same thing when you're going to sleep. That's your practice for the month. See how that goes for you. By the way, I'm going to continue with you guys writing what you feel or insights on the blogs. If you don't want to share on the blogs, don't share on the blogs. On the My Oneness forum, and it's the Be Free People forum now. If you don't feel to share it, then don't share it. Just write it for yourself. I was showing the guys in Melbourne on Monday when they came back from lunch at this time of the OMG. I pulled out my iPad, I had my iPad, and I had written a whole page of what I just spoke about. I'm like, this is me, I'm doing this. I just spoke about this. So I just got this feeling and brought it out for you this half of the day so far. And from that, I've even gone and written about it. I don't need to write it. I don't send it to you guys. I don't send it to anyone. I just write it for myself to articulate it, to give it even more form of what I've just spoken about. You see, I'm only sharing with you because people always ask me, well, how do you do it? How? How do you live this way? How? And I'm just telling you what I've practiced. One of the biggest things I've practiced is going and taking this feeling and expressing it. Whether if it was just emotions, I would express it with someone I trust and tell them about how I feel. More of a one-on-one situation. I'd open up my heart and be honest and bring and let some rawness out. That then started becoming writings, truth of the days. It then started becoming speaking, the WTF experience. It then turned into a more depth of speaking, OMG. I've continuously been expressing, taking the feeling and bringing out, taking the feeling, bringing it out. Now, notice the breath coming out. Notice the breath going in. Notice the breath coming out. Do you reckon you can handle that little practices throughout your month? It's up to you. I'll leave it with you. You can feel it in the, like it's almost like letting go. Like when people say you got to let go, you can feel it because you're letting go back into yourself as the space. It's the waves coming onto shore, waves going back into the ocean. Right. You ready to keep going? None of this will work if you have power outside of you. The moment you have power outside of you, in this case, we're talking about finances. Financial, work, wealth, whatever you want to call it. Okay, you can put your career and work and your business into the same category. If you have power outside of you, and we spoke about this in Reclaiming Power Month 1, how do you know you have power in something? Does anyone remember? How do you know it controls you? That's right. Spot on. Spot on. Someone's present. It controls you. That's how you know you've got power in it. How do you know it controls you? Because you're trying to control it. So simple. So here's the thing. If you have power in something, it means you're in duality. It's the same as having power in an entity that's infinite. Putting power into your finances. And what do I mean by having power in something? In the WTF experience, I present something that's very difficult for most people to get their minds around. That the physical world is an illusion. What do I mean by that? Okay, you need to see that it is an illusion before, you need to see the lie before you can see the truth. You need to replace the lie with the truth. What do I mean that it's an illusion? It's an illusion that that form, the physical, has any power. That's the illusion. Because the moment something outside of you, whether it's your finances or anything else, or a disease, or your health, the moment something has power, that means you don't, because you're in duality. So none of this will work for you if you have power in something. So how do you know you have power on something? Let me give you some reference points, if I may. I feel a love to live a certain way, live life a certain way. And that certain way is to do what I love and to be who I love to be, to experience what I love. Now, when you have power outside of yourself, you think to yourself, for example, I can't do this because I don't have the money. It has nothing to do with the money. There's no power in the money, right? The power is in the feeling that I love. And when I choose to follow the feeling which is an energy, formless, begins to manifest itself into form and gives me the perception that the form is separate to me. Does that make sense? Having your power in something means your feeling arises, but then you look at the form and ask permission. Can I have this? And in the form in this case is your financial situation. It has nothing to do with my business, Be Free People, if I am to live what I love. My options, my sense of freedom has nothing to do with the business. The business has to do with what has formed itself based on the feeling that I have chosen to follow. And when you follow the feeling, you allow the feeling to come out And when it comes out, it manifests itself into form. An artist has a feeling, and it begins to paint the feeling, and now you see it with your eyes because it's now in form. When I'm speaking to you, a feeling drops in, or better word, a feeling arises from within myself that has no words, and I could not even understand what the feeling is. But the moment I begin to speak the feeling gets formed into words. And then my mind can, or my head can go, I understand what I just said. Or I write it in words. I'm an artist myself. We are all artists. We are just painting. Now, some artists don't paint the feeling. Because they go and look at what's been painted and they say it's not possible. The power is in what's been painted. There is no power outside of you. And the air conditioning turned down. Dicko, can you do me a favour? I think they got a heater on or something. It's hot, isn't it? I thought it was just me. It is more. Rach, tell them to please turn the aircon on. You see, you can't use any of this. If you feel outside is real or more real than the feeling that is arising. We are talking about now, just leave that door open. I think there's a nice breeze coming through. Oh, okay. But leave it open. Is anyone out there right now? There's no noise? Okay, just leave it open. Thanks. So, if I was to describe to you how I live this, all right, it is when the feeling arises, I follow the feeling rather than ask permission of the feeling that's already been formed. The part of me that's already been painted. And when I follow the feeling, the mistake that most people, including myself, have made many times is that the moment it manifests itself into form, it distracts you. Let me say how it distracts you. I decide to live a certain way. I decide to, let's say, like Jamie was talking to me about flying business class. Remember that conversation before? I remember I was flying economy to America every trip. I didn't even think flying business. You know, economy is $1,500, business is like $8,000, $10,000. What are you, crazy? And then one day I went, yeah, I am crazy. I love to fly business. Then, now here's the thing. I said yes to the feeling. I didn't, when you don't say yes to the feeling, you're looking to say yes to the how. You're looking for the how to see if it's possible. But when you say yes to the feeling, do you want to know what it feels like? Who wants to know what it feels like when you say yes to the feeling? You will all relate to this. Ever had a moment where you know something's done? That's when you said yes to the feeling. And guess what? When you know something's done, you say, I don't care how it's done. I know I'm doing this. How many times have you said that? Why have you experienced that in the past? So you can have references of it right now. So you can go, yeah, I've experienced that. And that's how That's the purpose of our past. So we can just have references, not to live in it. Right now you have a reference. Yes, there's been times in my life where I knew something was going to happen. I knew I was going to do something, and I didn't care how. That's when you know you've said yes to the feeling. You don't care. You still don't know how it's going to happen necessarily. All right? The certainty is coming from your decision that you've decided to do it. It's not coming from you knowing how. So I decide I'm flying business from now on. I can only do that if I have space. I can't make that decision. Because the moment I go to make that decision, there's no space. It straight away goes, well, how? It's not possible. That's why when I say to people make a decision, they go straight into how. Then the feeling begins to form into a story. Now what happens in the story? Okay? In this case, right, I still have limitations around money, right? I still think paying for a flight once a month to Los Angeles, $8,000 is ridiculous. So it comes in a different form. It's not going to come in the form that I think is not possible. I get a gold membership from Qantas sent to me, and they said, you've been flying with us for a little bit. Congratulations, you become gold. I go, oh, what does this mean? Then I realize I can get upgrades. So I began to get upgrades using my points, and I began to fly business. That's how it formed itself, right? But I still, one day I remember realizing, one day I remember not getting an upgrade. And I was like, oh, I didn't get an upgrade. And I've been flying business all this time. And then you go back into, I actually had to go back into premium. It wasn't economy, but premium. It wasn't as bad as, and I went back there and I was like, and I just sat there and I was like, why don't I just buy the business class ticket? I know it's just here. So then I decided to buy a business class ticket. Now over here, it's not possible because the company, all the money that comes in goes out. There's all these expenses. You can't increase the expenses. $100,000 flights to America. I mean, you don't even do that in OMG in America. Can you see? Up here, it's not. I say yes to the feeling. The next thing I know, I'm buying business class tickets. The next thing I know, Qantas is sending me emails saying, buy a business class ticket on discount, $6,000. All right, bang. I'll buy 2, thanks. I keep pushing myself. Do you understand? Like, I've explained that in manifestation before for you. I've explained to you that so many times. If you make the choice here, and there's nothing wrong with using here, but let the feeling use here. If you're making the decision here, you're making a limited decision, meaning you manifest another limitation. Over here, within the space, it's infinite. That's my infinite bank account. I don't need the money to be in my bank account for me to make the decision. All I'm doing now is continuing just to expand my awareness. So I know I'm not limited at all. And if I want to buy a home with a tennis court now, I can. Because recently I got into tennis. Been playing tennis. I played tennis last night. We'll play tennis tonight. When I bought tennis shoes, I'm like full tennis geared out. And then I went, I feel like having a home with a tennis court. That's all I do. Do you understand? The logic, well, that's ridiculous, Amir. Like a home with a tennis court, I mean, that's going to be a 4 or 5 bedroom. What are you going to do with all those bedrooms? And like, I'm not thinking about the bedrooms. I want a home with a tennis court now. Well, that's going to be 5 times your rent. Infinite bank account. But you see, if you're trying to use your infinite bank account from here, it becomes woo-woo. And we call you up, for example, to sign up to a program that you want to do, and you'll be like, well, hang on, let me manifest it from my infinite bank account. That's when we know you've got it in a woo-woo way. You don't need to manifest. When you're getting what I'm saying to you, you don't run out of money, you run out of space. Within that space, you no longer need to manifest. It is manifested. Remember we spoke about the decision making. We said that infinite being doesn't make a decision. The decision is made. You see what words I'm trying to describe? The finite being decides because it's duality. Should I do this? Should I not? What's finite decides. What's infinite is only one decision. There's only one. It's not deciding if I should. It's decided. You see, you can't put that. You can't even understand that. But what do you mean? If it's decided, it must have decided at some time. Can you see how you just screw yourself? It's decided. And that's why I say, when you follow the feeling, you notice a feeling that's already decided. That's why I never decide. I, as the identity, choose to follow the feeling that I, as the infinite, decided upon. You are not here to make money. We started today, but the question I asked you is, why do you want to make money? Is money important? Yes. Why? Because you manifested in this story to play this game where you're giving money for things. That's why. Just like you manifested to be this body. And within this story of being body, this body needs to breathe. That's the way you manifested the game. So is money important? Yes. But like I talk about in the WTF, what's more important, your money or your breath? Well, your breath is, because without your breath you wouldn't be alive. What's more important? It's your breath. Is it important for you to have red blood cells? Who believes it's important to have red blood cells? Yes. Why? Because in the story, you require red blood cells. That's the way you created it. But is that why you're here? To make red blood cells? Is money important? Yes, it is important. But is that why you're here? To make money? Do you get what I'm trying to say? It's important because it's part of the story. So don't go just on the internal journey and become denial of the external story. Reclaim your power from the story, then you use money. You don't look to hold on to it. You use it. The only reason money comes in my hand is so I can use it. Did you know that? That's why I have money, so I can use it. Why would I have money to hold on to it? Why would you, if you knew that you have an infinite bank account, why would you need to save? Or why would you need to hold on to it? Now, I'm not saying I don't save. There's money, I have money in different bank accounts. Why? Well, the money, extra money came, I put it aside. If I need it, I would use it. I can't go, oh, no, you can't touch that. That's for backup. No, it's not for backup. It's there because it was extra. I didn't need to use it for anything. If I love to buy a home, I would love to buy a home. I wouldn't buy it because it's part of my portfolio or investment. Now, in the story, if it moves you to build your portfolio, build your portfolio. Nothing wrong with it. Don't become woo-woo and go, well, I don't even want a home. I just live on a bicycle and wear an orange robe, and it's not about letting go of your possessions, it's about letting go of your identity, of yourself that you see in your possessions, the need of them. So are you here to build red blood cells? No. That's not why you're here. Are you here to breathe? No. Is it important to breathe? Yes. You came here to be alive. We spoke about this in previous months. One of the questions I left with you to ponder on is, why are you alive? Don't know what answer you came up with, but when the feeling moves through you, that's when you're alive. And that's why you're alive. When I'm speaking these words that is moving through me in the form of a feeling, and I allow it to speak through me, that's why I'm alive. I feel most alive here, right now with you. I spoke to you about my friend who wrote her amazing book, and then she was all attached to what's going to happen with the book. Is it going to fail? Is it going to be successful? Is Oprah going to take it? Is this going, It's like, what do you care? Why do you care what your book does? You see, your power is in the book. Well, because that's why I wrote it. And I said, you liar. That's not why you wrote it. You wrote it because when you write that, you feel alive. And now the book is complete. None of your business what happens to it. That's not why you wrote it. You didn't write the book to sell it. You see, if you have power in money, then you think, well, that's why I wrote the book. No, you wrote the book because you felt moved to do it. And when you wrote the book and you let the feeling come out, you felt alive. Once the book is finished, yeah, you're going to sell it or whatever. It's part of the story, but who cares? It's finished. Now you go and move your feeling towards the next thing. I didn't really call it a liar, just exaggerating the point. Sometimes in my team, some of the guys go, I'm having financial difficulties. And I'll call them in the meeting and go, guys, so-and-so is such a liar. And they're like, sitting there going, what do you mean? And I go, you're a liar. And they're like, after the meeting, why are you calling me a liar? I'm not a liar, I'm very honest. I'm saying, you're telling everyone in the company you don't have money. They're like, well, I don't, I'm having this fun. I'm like, you liar. And they still didn't get what I'm saying. And they go to everyone, I'm not lying, guys, I'm serious. You liar. You lie. In other words, you bought into your lie, and that makes you a liar because you bought into your lie. That's a lie. This whole path is about bringing your awareness. Your awareness is who you are. Bring your awareness and place it upon the truth, not upon the lie, because then you become the lie and you're a liar. Place your attention on the truth. What's the truth? How much money I have has got nothing to do with who I am. How much I sell this. How much business I do. You guys have seen this. I've shared with you insights of my business. I've opened the door and showed you what I do in my business. I showed you the decisions that I was able to make because I had no power in what I sell. I spoke about that in previous OMGs. I said, which idiot will go put what they do in the webisodes? It's bad for business. Everyone's writing, you're an idiot. Remember I told you about that in previous OMGs? Jamie comes up to me and goes, I had a client that wants to sign up to the retreat. I go, great. When are they signing up? They're not signing up anymore. Why? They saw your webisodes. I'm just giving you an example. Can you see? If I've got power in that, then I'll be like, oh guys, stop the webisodes. But I'm not doing I'm doing the webisodes because it feels true. I wouldn't be able to make the decisions that I made a decision back in March to no longer speak. No, I'm not doing speaking for now. I don't feel to do it. I'm not doing any more WTFs. Do you know since then I haven't spoken? Do you know in my business model that's bad? No one's going to sign up to OMG. That's where our profits come from in the business story. for 6 months. Now, I feel moved to do 2 WTFs. That's it. Just 2. Doing one in Sydney, doing one in LA. That's all I feel to do. I stopped doing business, and then companies ring me up and go, we'll pay you $10,000 to come and speak for our company. We like the way you treat your client, your staff in those webisodes. I want you to come talk to my staff. Can you see? Another story forms itself. Right, man? Client signs up and says, yeah, fly you business class and just come spend 6 hours with my team and tell them how it is, just like you tell your team how it is. I go, what do you want me to train them in? Just tell them, just do what you do in the webisodes. Okay. But remember in the story, the webisodes were bad for business. It just changes form. See, there's no power there. There's no power there. The only power that's there is the power that I've put into it, that I'm expressing myself through. I've experienced this so long. I've been building a business this way for, how many years has it been? 2000? I don't know. How long have I been speaking for? 6? No? 4? 6? 6 years. I've been building a business this way for 6 years. The first 3 years, I didn't know, it felt like I didn't know how to do it. Because my mind would keep coming in going, for example, I didn't plan anything. Then all these people would buy into this program, right? And then I'd be like, well, that's how we're going to make more money. We sell more of this program. And then I'll put the power back into it. Can you see? All right, guys, and this is what we're going to be doing. And that's what I'm saying to you. You may pull the power out and not have power. Then when it manifests or morphs itself into manifestation, into a story, then you go and give your power to the story and go, oh, that's what works. That's what I got to do. There's nothing that works. You're coming from the nothingness. Every single moment it's different. Every single moment you're open to infinite possibilities. How you made your money last time has nothing to do with how money comes to you this time. So, my suggestion is go back to month 1, restudy month 1, reclaiming power. Because if your power's outside of you, then you can't be the power, can you? And it's very easy. Notice when the power is outside of you. Notice when you want to make a decision and you go straight to your head and go, oh, financial. Notice it. That's what I did, and I just kept practicing. Just kept practicing and going, oh, look at that. I want to sell that program because I think it'll be successful. I think I want to do this business because just let it go. People go, what does it take to live this way? You know what it takes is for you to keep falling over and over again when you make a decision based on something you have power in, until you get to the point of realizing, you know what, it doesn't work this way. I have continuously done something out of an agenda enough times where I've got to a point I'm like, every single time I've got a slap in the face. Every single time I've been left with feeling unfulfilled. All right. I did that so many times over and over again until I realized I get it. There's no power there. What I kept basing my decision, which is something to do with outside, there's no power there. I don't need to work to make a living. I've decided the life I have chosen based on the degree I'm willing to follow the feeling, and then a story morphs where I'm getting paid an X amount of money to support my manifestation. You see what I'm trying to say? It's the opposite. It's not because you get paid this much money that you have this much choices. It's the choice you've made based on the feeling that then morphs itself into a story where you get a job, you get an idea, you get an inheritance, you get whatever. It just morphs itself. And I'm continuously morphing the story based on the feeling. Questions? Dicko, they didn't turn the aircon on, did they?
That's a question.
Okay, don't worry about it. That's all right. We'll just think cool thoughts.
I think you said, Amir, just before we left for the lunch break that, the majority of you won't go and do the exercise, for example, because you don't have the will. So where does will come from?
Will is something that will grow when you are going through your circumstances. The reason we create or manifest some of the circumstances that we experience pressure in is because that pressure grows your will, the will to make space. So will is to do with everything, but some people don't have enough juice, enough fuel. Okay, and it is the story that you manifest that creates this pressure. All right, and an individual would then can grow their will. Their will gets stronger and stronger until you go, ugh! And it's all internal, and you're making space internal. I went through so much, so much pressure. I knew it had nothing to do with my business. I knew it had nothing to do with marketing. I knew it had nothing to do with how much money I made. So I let go of all these things, and then I created all this pressure. There was so much pressure. And at times I just wanted to give up. I don't want to do this anymore. I know that world out there doesn't work, but freaking heck, I just can't take this pressure anymore. But that's what grew my will. Every time my team go through some things that they go through, I'm just like, I just support them and let them go through it. I don't want to take the thing that they're going through away, okay? Because unless it feels true for me to, do something that's going to support it to go away. But otherwise, I let them boil in there because it's the will that grows. That's why sometimes if someone in the story, and this is a story, it's not necessarily true, but in the story they say someone's been spoon-fed, well, they don't succeed if they go there on their own because their will's not strong enough. Where someone's had a more rough upbringing, the moment they have an opportunity, they grab it and they take it and they never let go because the will's grown, it's strengthened, it's been fueled. And they've got the fire there. It's ready to go.
Is that not the story, though?
I said that. It's the story. I'm just giving you a reference point. And that's why I said, in the story, there is this reference point. Is that true? No, it's not necessarily true at all. Okay, but from my experience, the story is what you use to reflect and see yourself and see how far you've come, for example. It is to see where you are right now. And the story is what supports you or fuels some of the fuel that's required.
So we're here to be alive.
We are here to be alive.
Which is not necessarily doing something you love, but it's feeling alive in doing what you're doing.
Well, feeling alive is allowing this feeling, the feeling that has come to, the feeling from within that's come to be given birth to without. All right? Now that feeling is a feeling of love. So usually when you're doing or you're letting this feeling out, you then label the experience going, I love doing this. All it is the feeling. And the feeling is here to be expressed through every single one in a different form, because every single one are different instruments of the same orchestra, and every single instrument makes a different sound. Therefore, every single one, it is experienced through a different form. Some people express the feeling through art, some people through song, some people through dance, some people write a movie, some people tell a story, some people raise their children. It's the feeling that. And the thing is, when you let the feeling come out, not how it should or how it ought to, but how it's meant to, right? Then you label that experience going, I love this, because you feel alive, and then you label whatever it is that you're doing in order for you to let the feeling out, going, I love doing this. So I would say, I love speaking. I just love it. I love connecting. But it's not. It's I love who I'm being when I'm doing this. It's not the doing, because this feeling could just come out in another form. It could be in complete silence tomorrow.
Does that create space for you?
When you're allowing the feeling out, it's coming from space. So therefore, all you feel is space. And the more you let the feeling out, the more you feel space, and the more you become, your awareness of the space becomes expanded and expanded. And and that, what happens is you start to become familiar with that expansiveness. When I was a child, my mum would continuously clean my room. You guys have heard me tell this story. Clean my room, clean my room, clean my room. One day, her friends goes, why do you do that? Let him grow up and clean his own room. She goes, because I'm getting him to become familiar with how it's meant to be. Did it work? Yeah. Did I clean my bedroom? Did I clean my bed this morning before I left? Yep. I can't leave the house without cleaning it. It's a mindset. It's got to be clean. You come to my house, it's clean. Is that because of my girlfriend? At the moment it is. That's why it's been manifested. But before she came along 6 months ago, she only moved in 4, 5, 6 months ago. It was exactly the same. Now I've just manifested that she loves to do it herself. I had a cleaner before. She goes, no, don't worry about the cleaner. All right. She loves it. She loves cooking. I manifested, she loves to cook. She's an amazing cook. She cooks all the time. The more you expanded your space, the more you feel you are worthy or deserving of whatever it is that you love, because you have space for it. Your fridge has become bigger. You have a cool room now. Do you know? So then when the feeling arises to go do this, or to go and have this, or to live a certain lifestyle, then you feel deserving or worthy, so you're not, sabotaging. Because you go, well, I've got all this space. Yeah, bring the food over. I've got a massive cool room. But when your fridge is full, you just go, I just can't have that. And you go, I don't feel I deserve it. So then you sabotage it. It's all about space. Every month you come here, right now you're sitting here making space. Do you know right now, and again, I won't use the word making space because that gives you the wrong indication. Right now you are becoming aware of your space. Did you know that? Every month you come, every month you leave a different person. Why? Because one person here is being what they're speaking about. And when you're around someone who is being in the space, you feel the space. Now, if you go and be around someone else who's passionate, or is coming from a space, and then maybe they're painting a picture, or they're singing a song, you feel the space. I'll show you some of the videos in the WTF experience. Yeah, you see some of those awesome videos, and you just feel the love. And I go and I say to the audience, it's not the story of, oh wow, they didn't believe themselves and then they did it, and it has nothing to do with it. It's got to do with the space they're singing from. And you feel it. That's why some people in your life, you love being around them, because every time you leave them, you feel expanded. You feel light. And remember, that's the other feeling to describe space. It feels light. When there's not space, you feel heavy. Bless you. So can you see that we really didn't need to talk about money today? I didn't even get to talk about it. In Melbourne, at least I spoke about it a little bit. Like, can you see how, it is irrelevant? You will get to a point when you have space All right? Is breathing important? Yes. But do you take up space thinking, where is my next breath going to come from? How am I going to manage the breath that I currently have? Or what happens if I run out of breath tonight when I go to bed? Are those thoughts or those ideas taking up space in your mind? No. Is breathing important? Yes. And that's exactly how it becomes. Is money important? Yes. I have to pay the rent. I have to pay my office rent. I have to pay wages. I have to pay, all the expenses that I have. Just like you. But I just don't think about it. I am aware of it, but I'm not thinking how. That's none of my business. Am I thinking about how the tides are changing right now on the beach of Bondi? Am I thinking about how the sun on the earth is turning? Do I think about that? No. Am I manifesting that? Yes. I, as the infinite, is manifesting it, but there's no thought around it. It's taking care of itself, just like nature. Nature takes care of itself. I, as the infinite one, have designed it that way. So then I can experience myself being infinite in a part of myself. Over this next 5 months or however long we got together, the practice for you is to keep seeing the truth. Place your attention on the truth. Keep seeing not Sean that sits there. But my practice is to see myself as Sean sitting there like that. That's me. Not me as Amir as the identity, but me as Amir as the infinite, the big Amir. But most people don't see that because they judge it. Take your judgment away and you'll see, I remember in a webisode, if you guys watch the webisodes, most people in the OMG do, but you'll see that I say, if it's meant to be, it will come to me. Because if it's my manifestation, it will come to me. If it's not meant to be, then it's the carrot. The carrot that's been dangled in front of the people who work like this in the morning to work, machines. Because they're chasing something that's not meant to be. The carrot and the stick. So, and the thing is, they never catch it, right? But if it's meant to be, it comes to me. And why did I drop onto that subject? What you got to... There's two things coming at the same time. That's one thing I want you to grasp, right? I continuously let things just fall into my lap. I've spoken about my whole company, my whole team. Every single person in the team has come. And I would say 98% of my company have gone when it was time for them to go. I'm talking about the people who have gone. They come on their own accord, they leave on their own accord. It becomes obvious to them that it's time to move on. And when it is time to move on, the next person shows up. It's happened so simply. I was just standing the other day in Speedos in North Bondi, grabbing a coffee. Some girl comes up to me and she goes, "Are you Amir Zogi?" I said, "I am." No, I didn't do that. I said, "Yes, I am." She goes, "I've done your WTF program." I go, "Great." And we start having a conversation. She ordered some food. We're standing in the line and talking. And she goes, she said to me, "Did you just come back from the US?" I said, "Yeah, I just got back a couple of weeks ago. I'm about to head over there." And she goes, I go to the US quite regularly too." I go, "Where do you go?" She goes, "I go to New York." I go, "Really? Why do you go to New York?" She goes, "I got an office there." I go, "Oh, so you got an office in Australia?" She goes, "Yeah, I got an office in Surrey Hills. I got an office in New York." I go, "Great. What do you do?" She goes, "I do social media." It was only 1 week ago. I said to Ryan, "We need someone to do social media." He goes, "Do you want me to send an email to the database?" And I felt with it. I'm like, "Nah, let's see what comes to us." Great. Met up with her, great synergy. Boom, she's starting to do our social media stuff. Like, it's just, do you not understand? It comes to me. I don't need to chase it. For the first time, right, I didn't chase a woman in my in the current relationship that I'm in. When I say I didn't chase, of course, it's part of the story to ask the woman out, and, you know, well, it is for me anyway. You know, so there is some chasing, but normally the woman will say no. I always get them to say no, I don't know why, right? But they always say no to me, right? But I always think to myself, you've got no freaking idea, you're mine and you don't even know it. And I would always get them. And I would even say that to them, honestly. I'll say, look, let me be honest with you, like, you're already going to go out with me, you just don't know it yet. But you will go out with me, and they always, every time I've said that, have gone out with me. But it's always never worked. It's almost like I needed to manipulate them. Can you see what I'm saying? For the first time this girl said no, I asked Sally out and she goes, look, I'm currently not interested in romantic interest. She thought speakers are all sleazers and stuff, right? You were there around that time. And she said that I'm not interested in romantic, and I was like, if it's meant to be, she'll come to me, right? Like, it was. So I just went, look, that's cool, I totally understand. I just went, look, by the way, I'm going to be in Melbourne, because she was from Melbourne. I'm going to be in Melbourne anyway. Do you want to just catch up as friends? You know, normally I'd be like, I'm going to, you know, I'm going to make this happen. And it's been the most effortless relationship I have ever experienced. And I said to her the other day, if I could write out the person that would be the perfect description of the girl that I would want to have in my life right now, I would have written you. Like, it's just the perfect description I would have written of the characteristics and how she is. But every time I kind of like, the last girl before that I was dating, she didn't want to date me because I didn't have a uni degree. I can't date you. My parents won't accept because you don't have a university degree. I was like, well, you don't know it yet, but that's not going to matter for you soon, and you're going to be going out with me anyway. And she did. Did it work? No. Was it struggle? 2 months into it, it was all... It felt like, I remember saying to her, it feels like you consume space. That's what I said to her when I would argue. You just take space away from me. She goes, what are you talking about? I didn't even know what I was talking about. So if it's meant to be, it's up to me. It's so much easier. Sorry, it's up to me. If it's meant to be, it'll come to me. And the other thing is not being in judgment and accepting the form that it does come to me. So when I'm saying it's coming to me, well, how it comes to me is, you know, this is something that I've recently been able to transcend, and that is being able to see myself in my team. Because the ones that are closest to you, whether it's your team, your family, it's very difficult, right? So with my team, you know, I would tell them, this is the way we're going to do things, and if you can't live the truth, you shouldn't be working here. Do you know how much I struggled with that? And every time I'm trying to discipline them, and, you know, you see in some of the webisodes, right? No, sign the piece of paper. We're all on the same page. No, I don't want to be on the same page. Well, how is this going to work if we're not going to be on the same page? Bless you. How is my team, if my team are not being represented, if my team are not living the truth, well, that's not going to work in this business. Why not, Amir? Them not living the truth is the truth. Do you see the insight I gained in the last few months? Them not living the truth is my truth. I think to myself, well, everyone should be like this. Everyone should be living this. Why? His truth is not to live it. Let them be how they're meant to be. Do you know how much space that opened up? Do you know how much space that opened up? When I was like, because because you can even understand, because you'd be like, well, of course, if you're talking about living the truth, then they should be living the truth. Why? Well, because, can you see this is my thought process? Well, because they are a representation of you. So then people will think that you don't live it. So do I have power in that then? You see? It's just like, the ones who are meant to see me for who I am will see me for who I am. If my team are not living it the way I think, and who am I to say that this is what living the truth is? I have team members, I remember the biggest thing that I discipline my team in is being on time. From the very first time I started building the team in Be Free, it's like, you have to be on time. You need to respect everyone's time. You have to be on time. And they would get fined and, all this kind of stuff. And why? Because that's the way I was raised in business. Because if I was late, I would get kicked out of the meeting. But now, will I kick him out of the meeting? If it feels to, yeah, I will. But they don't have to do that. There's so many different forms of people in my company now. But that then allows space within me to then see myself in them. Do you know how many times Jamie is the perfect one? Jamie comes all the time. DK will probably know. All the time. Look, Amir, I think this individual within the company, is not meant to be here. Why do you say that, Jamie? Well, they're taking up a lot of space. I say, well, they can't take up space. You can only give space away to them. And they're like, well, they're not living this. They're continuously in my ear. Or Patrick Nana was a perfect one. Jamie would keep going, I got a new marketing guy, they can help us. And I would say to Jamie, but Jamie, can't you see, right, that there is no power in Patrick or the marketing? If we're meant to have, back in Jamie's word, 10,000 views, we would have that whether Patrick likes it or not. Like, do you see the degree that you've got to reclaim power? There's got to be no power outside of you. When you have no power outside of you, you become the power. That's being the one power, the one energy. That's what's laid out ahead of you if you want to go all the way. Rach. Oh, just scratching. My financial limitations, if I have any, are all according to the space I have. And the space I have and the things that take up space is when I go into how my team should be, how this ought to happen, how this should happen, how this would happen. So the biggest element that takes up space for me, or has taken up space for me, has been that word how. So I wonder if that's the same for you. Just feel how much space opens up when you take away, how is this going to happen? How am I going to manage this? How am I going to do this? How this should happen? How this could happen? How this would have happened? Those are the things that take up space. How my team should be showing up. I took away more and more of the how. And like I said, only recently, in the last 3 months, I was like, well, my team don't have to be like that. This is not how they're meant to be. And I would think, well, if my team can't live this, how is any of the clients going to live this? None of my business. It's up to whoever wants to live it. I might manifest a whole team that don't live this, but then I have clients who live it. Do you know how much space that opened up? Like I just went, wow. Like it just took me to a new level because I was feeling a little bit heavy. I was like, oh God, where's this heaviness coming from? And it's all to do with my team and how they're meant to be. Now, in the story, any business owners would know, they'll be like, well, you need to have rules, you need to be clear, you need to have guidelines, you need to have this, right, in the story. But how they're showing up has nothing to do with the rules I set out. It's got to do with how I decide to show up in them. Do you see what I'm saying? It's got to do with how I, as the infinite one, shows up. And I've told this, and I was telling you the story of Jamie, I got distracted. And I would tell Jamie, who are they? My mum used to always tell me, because, you know, it's always close to you, your brothers, sisters. Amir, who is your older brother? He's my older brother. No, who is he? You must see yourself. And it is the most difficult thing to do, especially when you're judging the reflection of yourself that you're seeing in them. Who is your sister? Yeah, but she can't be doing this. Yeah, but don't you see it's you that's showing up and doing that? Why would I do that? You know? And that's where most people get stuck. Why would I do that? Why would I manifest to be experiencing this? And the only reason you say, why would I do that, is because you still see yourself separate. It's like if my two hands here were two puppets, right? And this puppet is excelling, right? And this puppet is not. It keeps banging its head against the wall. Boom, metaphorically. It keeps banging its head against the wall, right? This puppet's going, that's not the way you should be. Life is, you should be positive. And it keeps banging its head against the wall and it starts to have bleeding and all that kind of stuff. And this puppet is going, why would I? And then someone comes and tells this puppet, that's you. And then it's like, but why would I be doing that? You see, if this puppet realized where the hand goes to and realized the hand in that glove and realized the hand in that glove, it changes the scenario. Why? Well, to show you what not to do. But can you see, the point I'm trying to make is, it's you that gave the role for this puppet to play that role. And you're judging, going, why would you hurt yourself? Why wouldn't you choose a better life? Because you gave it a role not to. Do you understand? It's the same hand in both puppets. But most people don't understand. What did you want? Did you want all the puppets to be the same? But then you wouldn't know the different sounds. It bangs its head so you don't have to. But then you judge it going, hey, you don't have to. No, but its role is to bang its head so that you realize you don't have to. But then you're like going, hey, you don't have to. Like, can you see the degree that you need to reclaim power? I have team members coming up to me in the beginning. They used to ask me for pay rises. No one asks that anymore. Because I'm like, why are you asking me? Well, who else am I meant to ask? You haven't even asked yourself yourself that shows up in me. Sure, if you asked yourself and you said, yes, I'm going to get a pay rise, and then you felt to come and ask me or tell me and speak to me about a pay rise, then okay, follow your feeling, come speak to me. But I can feel that you think I'm going to choose yes or no. I can feel you haven't even decided. Most people think I employ people in my team. No, they just decided that they're going to be working with me. And I'm not talking about like when I decided to be with a girl. You know, you just started working with us. Somewhere in her, she decided to come and work with us. But she didn't come up to me and go, Amir, I'm going to be working for you. Yep, I know. Yep, I am going to be working for you. I've just decided. And, you know, I'm not saying you all want to work with me. You've seen the webisodes, you probably don't. No way, Jose. It's actually taken a lot out of context. It's not the way it seems.
And you're in charge of editing.
Hey?
You're in charge of editing, aren't you? Aren't you the executive producer?
No.
Aren't you at the end of the day?
No. Well, I am now.
Yes.
Yeah, but at the beginning it was Brian, and his background was in the story. Brian's background was in reality TV. So, you know. But then most people would see that and then they go, oh my God, that's terrible. But you didn't see what happened after the meeting. You didn't see the appreciation, the love between the team. No one sees that part. And then obviously it was like taken out of context. And I was like, guys, this is, you know, let's show how it is. Don't, you know. Anyway, editor changed. Now we have Ali. Always perfect. Okay, questions, comments. I think if I get you to understand the biggest thing from today is that if you are in your power, the question of how doesn't come into play. It just doesn't come into play. Infinite being doesn't think how, infinite being just decides. The how is the expression of the infiniteness. It's the energy moving to express itself. Question. Just keep it on your chin.
I've heard the idea. I guess it goes along with the how, and you're saying, you know, be open to the infinite possibilities of the how in how, say, finances show up. Is that linked to your intuition around the why you want it to show up? So I've heard the ideas of having to have a big why or something like that. Is that one and the same thing?
I know what you're talking about having a big why. Watch the webisode tomorrow. The webisode tomorrow is called The Power of the Why. Funny enough. It's a very powerful webisode. In fact, I'm sending it out to the whole database because once a month I've picked the best webisodes and pick them and send it out to the whole database. And that webisode, The Power of Why, which Dico stars in, I should say, I cover exactly that your why, which is your fire, okay, you got to keep asking yourself why. So you keep, like, why did I say that? Why am I doing this? Why do I want that? Why do I want them to think of me this way? Okay? Why? Keep asking why until you peel, because every time you ask why, it's like peeling layers of your agendas. Because at the beginning when you ask why, okay, the why all have agendas, right? Even, you know, your why, purpose, agenda. Okay? You keep going why, and keep being honest with yourself. Honest. You'll find yourself dropping deeper and deeper to your core why, right? At the core why, you become your why. And at that point, you no longer have a why. You no longer have a reason. You know, when I first started speaking, I definitely had whys. Okay, I had why I do this, why I build my business this way, why I started a business, all that kind of stuff. But there's a point you get to where you don't even know why, you just notice you're doing it. And that's when I describe the thing that it feels like you don't even have a choice. People say, why are you doing it? It's just like, like you don't even consider why, because you notice yourself doing it. And you know, you don't stop and go, why am I doing this? Like it's just, the why disappears. And the way I like to describe that is you become your why. So you're no longer doing something because of this why. The why is now coming through you. And when the why is coming through you, or the feeling is coming, you know, I call that the feeling, you no longer have a reason of why you're doing it. Like you just notice yourself, you're doing it. So yeah, watch that episode. The Power of the Why. It goes out tomorrow morning. Today's Wednesday? Tomorrow morning. 9 a.m. 10:30 the email go out. If you want to see it earlier, 9 a.m. just go to the website section on amirzoga.com. If you can't wait to 10:30. Any other questions? Right. Well, that brings us to the completion of wealth topic. You've got your homework. Do you want me to email that to you? I'll email it to you tomorrow. Okay, just so you know what it is. Look, none of what I'm sharing is easy. It's not. It's simple. And you know, I'm sure you're sitting here at times going, it's just so simple. Okay? But why it's not easy is because the wheel's got to bubble up. The wheel's got to get strong. But just remember, if you want to make greater space, look at the things that are taking up space. The greatest thing that I could give you right now is look at all how. How. Ask yourself why? Why am I doing this? And just be honest for the answer. Why am I doing this? Just be honest for the answer. Just keep asking why. And at the same time, let go of all the how. When you let go of how it should be, how it's meant to be, how it could be, how is it going to happen, where is it going to come from, all those kind of hows, you notice this space opens up. And when that space opens up, guess what you feel? You feel, I just feel it's done. Like we were talking about before, I don't care how it happens. You feel it's done. And why you feel it's done is because you've opened up space. The moment you feel space, and then you go, there's a change happening, there's a shift happening. You know when you say that? Guys in my team are always saying, Amir, I feel a change happening. They said to me last week. I know they've just opened up space. Yeah? Then Uncle Phil came up to me and goes, I just feel a change. I just know he's opening up space. Because the moment you open up space, you go, something's about to change. I've got a feeling about this. It's my intuition. You know, you just opened up space. And that sense of fulfillment, that love, we spoke about unconditional, infinite, universal love. Remember that? That was in month, whatever it was. I think it was month 4, 5. Remember that? What was that? It was just space. How many things have we spoken about that leads back to space? Reclaiming power, giving space to something. Do you remember that?